In 1981, Nintendo released an arcade game that would change the way games would be played, and would also help mold the company's future. Donkey Kong was a unique experience that used levels of characterization that just wasn't seen in games during this era. The game also produced two characters that would become very important to Nintendo's future: the barrel-tossing ape named Donkey Kong, and the overall-wearing Jumpman, who was later given the name Mario. Each of these characters have had several toys and collectibles based on them. However, there really isn't a whole lot available in terms of the original game. But there are a few unique gems out there, and I'm going to show you one of those gems here today. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of From Pixels to Plastic. I am your host, Mandalorian30. So I bet by now you guys are all wondering what that gem was that I was talking about, right? Nope, it's not Donkey Kong action figures. Oh no. What I'm going to show you today is the Donkey Kong board game. That's right, I said board game. A board game based on a video game. Pretty cool, huh? And Donkey Kong's not the only game that received the board game treatment. There's actually several of them out there, from Pac-Man to Frogger, even The Legend of Zelda. But today I'm just going to focus on showing you the Donkey Kong board game. So what do you guys say? You ready to see it? Let's go ahead and take a look. The game was released by Milton Bradley in 1982, a year after Donkey Kong was released in the arcades. It was a huge success by this point, so the translation into a board game just seemed like a great idea to cash in on the popularity. Take a look at the artwork on the box. These are some very early depictions of Donkey Kong and our favorite plumber, who then was actually a carpenter. And then of course there's the damsel in distress, Pauline. And yes, that's her name. She is commonly mistaken as Princess Peach, but Peach did not even exist until Super Mario Bros. Came out in 1985. Now back to the box. I love the artwork on this box. It is really cool looking and it is just so old school feeling. But enough about the outside. Let's open this bad boy up and take a look at what's on the inside. Now check out that game board. It looks practically just like the video game. The broken planks, the ladders, the oil barrel, even the captive Pauline are all there. The only thing missing are our main characters, the infamous barrels, and the fireballs that chase you. But all those are here too, and they're in the form of the game pieces. So let's take a look at those. Alright, we'll start by taking a look at the player pieces. There are 4 different colored characters, all to represent Mario. Red, of course, which is your normal Mario color. Then there's green, so I guess we can pretend it's Luigi. Yellow if you want to stretch a little bit and pretend it's Wario. And blue, where I guess, yeah, I don't have anything. There's a blue Mario there. The other pieces in the game include these fireball pawns, these awesome little yellow plastic barrels, and the star of the board game, Donkey Kong himself. He has a feature where if you drop the barrels into one arm and then raise the other arm, he sets the barrels down on the board. You'll understand exactly why in a little bit when I explain the rules. This game piece is so cool, it's practically a toy on its own. In fact, I'm sure there were a lot of kids that bought this game when it came out and never even bothered to play by the rules. They just wanted to play with this cool Donkey Kong. Alright, so now that you guys have all seen the pieces for the game, let's go ahead and show you how we're going to play the game. My lovely girlfriend Christina here is going to help us out today. She's going to play the game with me just so we can show you guys exactly how it's done. Now first of all, we'll show you how to set the game up. The awesome Donkey Kong sits right here at the top of the board, of course, just like in the game. He actually plugs right into the side of the board here, so he's all set up and ready to go. The little plastic yellow barrels actually sit on little black dots that are designated on the board. This is their starting point, so you will have an actual yellow barrel on each plank all the way down. Your Mario pieces will actually start right down here in the center of the bottom, right on the start tile. And then of course, you have your fireball pawns, which all go right over here in the oil drum. So what do you say, ready to play?
Yep.
Alright, let's do this. Okay, so when you're ready to go, figure out who's going first. Each player starts with 3 action cards, and the person going first rolls the dice to determine where they move. The white dice determines how far Mario goes, and you can only go in one direction on each turn, so if you roll a 5, you have to move all 5 spaces forward or backward, not both. The red dice determines how many spaces those barrels move. So if the red dice says 3, you have to move each of those barrels forward 3 spaces. This is to simulate Donkey Kong rolling those barrels down at you like in the video game. Sometimes you'll get lucky, and you'll roll Donkey Kong rests on the red dice. If that happens, the barrels don't move on that turn. Now, if your Mario comes in contact with a barrel, you have to play one of those action cards you started with. These cards allow you to either jump over the barrel to avoid it, or smash it with a hammer. When you do this, you turn the card face down, and then you get whatever point amount was on that card. Now, with so many barrels coming down at you as you try to reach the top of the board, you are bound to run out of cards at some point. And this is where it gets crazy. If it's your turn, and you run into a barrel with no cards, then you have to lose one of the cards you have already played, meaning you lose those points. If you get hit by a barrel on another player's turn, and you don't have those cards, then that player gets to steal one of your point cards from you, meaning they get the points. It gets pretty intense. Oh, and I forgot to mention, if one of those barrels hits the oil drum, then one of those fireball pawns gets released, and they start moving up the board after you. So you eventually end up with barrels coming down from the top, fireballs coming at you from the bottom. Man, this board quickly gets covered in disasters. It's nuts. Eventually, one person will make it up to Pauline, and when that happens, the game ends. The winner of the game is actually the person that ends up with the most points. Being the one to save Pauline is an automatic 500 points. The rest are determined by those cards that you still have in front of you that you were able to play. So yes, it is possible to save Pauline and still lose this game if the other player got more points than you. Ha! I totally saved Pauline. That's 500 points for me, plus 1 and another 300 for the jump. That means I win. I told you I would beat you at this game. I told you I would win. You lose, I win. Oh. 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 Well, despite that happening, and despite the fact that maybe the rules are a little long and confusing, once you get this all figured out, it's actually a really fun game. And it totally makes a really unique addition to your video game collection. So I'd suggest you guys, try to find this. It's actually a lot of fun. I found mine on eBay, actually, for 99 cents. Pretty good deal if you ask me. Just make sure when you look it up, it's got all the pieces with it, and definitely get those instructions so you know how to play. Well, that's all I've got for you guys today on this episode of From Pixels to Plastic. I did want to take one moment to talk about RetroWareTV.com. They are now presenting From Pixels to Plastic right there on their website. So definitely check out www.retrowaretv.com to see all the new episodes of From Pixels to Plastic. And while you're there, check out the other great stuff on the site like Video Game Takeout, The Happy Video Game Nerd, The Cold Guy Blog, Destroy the Humanoid, and of course the flagship show, RetroWare TV. And I just want to send a shout out to all those guys and say thanks for hosting From Pixels to Plastic. Until next time, I'm Mandalorian30, and I guess since I'm done with this and I made her mad, I'm going to go play some video games. I'll see you guys later. Hey. Hey, what you playing? Can I play? What? Okay, fine, you play.